Hey there, my name is Alex. I am the Silver Mont, and this is a video about rating video games. Exciting, huh? More specifically, I'm talking about rating things in general, reviewing things using a out of 10 based system. See, now and then I'll say something like, hey, I rate this movie, this game, this whatever, 7 out of 10, and people think that's a bad rating. It isn't. It should be quite self-explanatory, but thanks to certain media websites and things, apparently it isn't. So, here we go. 1 out of 10. Here's a product with nothing good to say about it. Quite simply, this is the worst rating you can give something. 2 out of 10. Something that is almost irredeemable, but there's something in there that prevents it from being worthless. 3 out of 10. Something that veers heavily towards bad, negative, but it might have an aspect or two that's enjoyable all the same. 4 out of 10. Below average. That is to say, much of it might be mediocre, but as a whole, it's leaning more towards bad than good. 5 out of 10. Average. Equal parts bad and good. Just somewhere in the middle of those two things. Average does not mean bad, it does not mean good. It means average. 6 out of 10. Above average. Take 4 out of 10 and reverse it. Hey presto, you've got the description for a 6 out of 10. 7 out of 10. Good. Something that is generally enjoyable, but maybe it has some big flaws, or otherwise it doesn't stray enough from being average to elevate it higher. 8 out of 10. Very good. Something that hits an 8 out of 10 should be, by its definition, something that is approximately 80% good. But perhaps it has 1 or 2 issues or areas to improve upon. It might be one quite big flaw. 9 out of 10. This is where you start hitting hard to reach territory. Those things that are almost perfect or have reached their full potential and are just held back by some very small issues or areas that need a bit of improvement. 10 out of 10. Perfect. As in, nothing reasonably can be improved. If you look at a game from 2000 and you gave it a 10 out of 10, for example, it doesn't mean that the graphics wouldn't be better if it were made 20 years later. It means for the time, there were no feasible improvements that could have been made. See, when you've got a scale like this, you've got a wide range of options to work with. So why is it that we effectively only use half of it at that? If a game hits 7 out of 10, that's generally thought of in the gaming industry as being a bad game. Some publishers will give developers a bonus if they hit 80 or 90 plus on Metacritic, so on and so forth. Now, of course, you should strive for excellence, but that doesn't mean you need to lower your standards in other areas, surely. So many game ratings are skewed and given higher ratings than they really deserve. Likewise, you have things being rated 6 out of 10 when they should be a 3 out of 10, for example. Now, of course, there is subjective and objective opinion to regard here. I just wanted to make this video so I have something to link people the next time someone asks me, hey, why did you give this game a 7 out of 10 when you said you liked it? Because I do like it. That's why I gave it a good rating. How is 2 points above average not a good rating? Just to give a few examples, some of my favourite games. First Dark Souls, I'd give that, I don't know, just off the top of my head, an 8 out of 10. I love that game something fierce, but there are enough issues with it for me to knock down some points. That's when I try and rate things more objectively, because that's what you should do when you are rating something. If you're marking a test, you shouldn't give someone more points just because you like them. So perhaps some people are looking more for an enjoyment rating. How enjoyable is this thing out of 10? Which is obviously a lot harder to quantify because that's purely subjective. And in general, you might have noticed I rarely give ratings and reviews on things. One reason is because I don't want people to just look at the rating and nothing else, because again, that leads to situations where they go, oh, you gave this game a 7 out of 10 even though you said it's good and people should play it? That doesn't make sense. I think it's better to just list personal pros and cons. I mean, hell, there are plenty of games I would rate below average that I still enjoy a lot. Warriors Orochi 2, one of my favourite games. Does that deserve more than a 4 out of 10? Not really. Only if you're rating it out of 10 as a Warriors game. if your scale from 1 to 10 is from best Warriors game to worst Warriors game. See, there's a lot of different ways to rate things, and I take issue with gaming news outlets who follow no sort of rhyme nor reason when they rate video games. If you have a scale that changes arbitrarily without any sort of context, how are people supposed to take you seriously when they're going to you for recommendations? When you give Elder Scrolls a 9 out of 10 for gameplay, but then you give Dragon's Dogma like a 7, is what? You're rating it 9 out of 10 for Elder Scrolls, which would be, what, 4 out of 10 for anything else? Is that what you're saying? I'm never going to be able to get over that, I tell you what. But yes, when I'm rating things out of 10, I want to use the whole scale. I want to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't want to use 7, 8, 9, 10. Wherein 1 out of 10 means it couldn't be worse, 10 out of 10 means it couldn't be better, 5 out of 10 means it's entirely average. And again, average doesn't mean bad. Bad means bad, average means average. But hey, that's humanity for you. There's a lot of us out there. Most of us are very average. That's sort of how averages work, but not many people would like to describe themselves as average. They want to be special. They don't want to be a 7 out of 10, even though that's still above average. They want to be a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. But hey, I think that's everything I've got to say on that subject. Until next time though, you guys take care. Ciao.